House of Prozorov. Welcome to the Melting Snowflake, Thoughts from the Deep State. Um, this is going to turn out a little different than the headline we see here. It talks about, do we secretly hate the super rich? Usually this question is asked by other rich people. I've been around poor people, and they never really talk about other poor, or they don't really talk about rich people, and they don't really talk about poor people because according to the rich, they think the poor people are just running around talking about how they hate the super rich. I could tell you right now, most of the poor people aren't even thinking about rich people. They're thinking about how to survive. But if we propose questions like this, we say that there's a class warfare on and the rich versus the poor. There's no contest. What you have is the media, who are other rich people, giving the impression that they're poor as well and that they support the poor people if you're on left wing media. And they're not really doing no such thing. Why? Look deep at their advertisement. MSNBC, ABC, CBS. Who do they have it that buy advertising space from them? They have to walk a fine line. Do you see them talking much about housing and the ridiculous rent prices? Do you see them posting the rent is skyrocketed in every single state? It's impossible to live and survive. No, they don't do that, because a lot of these wealthy people believe the poor people are walking around hating them. Now, if we do the opposite and we believe we have poor people walking around thinking the rich hate them, we're close there too. The rich want their labor and they want it at low cost. And then if the poor people aren't any good for labor, they don't want them at all. Nowadays, we don't want the poor people educating themselves and going to college because college has been turned into something that it's going the complete opposite direction. Right now, college is going more towards science and technology and economics and capitalism. It's been doing that for decades now. I could reference places in Ohio where suspected conservatives don't realize these colleges in Ohio are building entrepreneur centers and financial innovation hubs and places that are science, and they're very safe. The campuses are very safe. But if you keep talking to the rich people who often send their kids to the best colleges possible, or you talk to ignorant people on the conservative right, they'll tell you that the colleges are dangerous and they have high crime and they're not safe, when college campuses are usually the safest place to be. And college used to be a way for a poor person to get away. They could get financial aid, they could get loans, or a combination of both, and go live on college for 4 or 5 years and try to survive the horrific environment the rich people have created for the poorest people in our country, and they're continuing to make it worse. Less money on welfare, less money on domestic spending, less lower cost housing. So if you do want housing, you're going to have to get the government to give you the money, so the government can give the money to the richest people. Not even, it doesn't even go in your pocket, it just goes to rich people to house you. So with the exception of maybe women and children, and that's not even always good either. The welfare system we have right now is, it's just uh, not, 150 in food stamps, $200 in food stamps. Some people get a month. The rich people spend that in shoes on a trip to the mall, if they even use the malls anymore, right? So we just have everything sent to my gigantic mansion in an Amazon truck. We don't need malls. Um, Although women and men are different, I think women like to socialize a little bit more. So I think women like to enjoy malls. I'm sure some men do. Um, I don't want to create gender wars, because right now what we're talking about are class warfare, that the rich continue to think that they're totally hated, when a lot of times poor people don't even have time to focus on them. The poor people are focusing on, how am I going to get rent paid? How's that bill going to get paid? How can I get a car? How can I keep a car? How can I balance all these bills when I have my grandparents are of no help. Maybe they've passed away. Parents, maybe they're of no help, or maybe they've passed away. A lot of things we don't even talk about because they're out of reach for the rich to even comprehend. Like they don't talk about how many people, when their parents die, people have no insurance, their parents have no life insurance, there's nothing to hand over, or the parents didn't even make it uh, very long, or the grandparents died before they even got to see their grandchildren. And that was a result, I think. People just say, oh, it's just medicine. I don't think medicine has gotten that much better. Our life expectancy has actually dropped because of COVID. Um, it's just a dog eat dog world. Everybody's worried someone could get somewhere and nobody's getting anywhere. And a few rich people get to stay rich, and then the rich people believe they're super hated by the poorest people who don't have any time to think about them. When I think it's the opposite. I think a lot of rich people who have a lot of time to think about stuff come up with this idea that everybody hates them, and nobody really has time to even think about them. So that's what it's been all about. Now, um, what they point out here, yeah, that's possible. Do we secretly hate the super rich? Who is we? Well, again, this is people with more money than the poorest. And my argument is just to say that the poor people have to deal with survival. And whether they're hateful or not is something you have to go on a case by case basis. And what poor people need to do, and here's the tip of the day: poor people really need to not go around and talk about assistance that they get. Let me repeat that. Poor people should not go around talking about government assistance they got, posting things on their website about government assistance they got to the public. This stuff just causes people with money to go into uproar. If they find out you got help, and then they believe that they worked so hard to get what they got, but you got some help to get it, and they're going to say that you got that free and you didn't struggle like they did to get it, they're going to hate you. So telling them that you got financial aid to go to school, that you got financial aid to pay your rent, that you got financial aid to give you an opportunity to start a business isn't going to work. They're not going to be happy for you, and they're going to secretly actually want to sabotage those programs, and they may even vote against those programs and get leaders in there that are going to put the kibosh on federal aid, state aid, or any type of aid that they hate. So that's a rundown of what you're dealing with, poor folks. So be strategic. Don't just go out there and think the rich people aren't thinking about you. They have more time to think about the poor people than the poor people have to think about the rich people. Think about it. This is House of Prozaroff telling you stay golden. Uh, Talk to you later. Have a great day.